So you're ready to start teaching your preschooler at home. But now you're wondering, how are you going to fit in those preschool lessons when you already have a very busy day? Well, you're in luck, because in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a routine for your preschool at home so that you can fit in everything that you need to, even if you're already homeschooling older kids or have a baby or toddler that you're taking care of. This video is the fourth in a series on how to begin teaching your preschooler at home. If you missed the first 3 videos, be sure to find a link in the description below so that you can catch up and grab your Preschool at Home Quick Start Guide to help you get started. When you're busy taking care of kids, whether it's homeschooling older ones or taking care of a baby or toddler, you might think that you don't have time to fit preschool lessons into your already busy day. Well, I'm going to show you how to set up a routine for preschool that fits into the busy day you're already having. Hi, I'm Christy with Homeschooling in Progress, and my goal is to help you have a simple and enjoyable, yet still productive homeschool day. And how can you do that? By creating a routine. Having a homeschool routine for preschool or even your older kids is going to help you fit everything in. The homeschooling, the cooking, the cleaning, the taking care of babies, everything that a busy homeschool parent has to do during a day. So what's the first thing you're going to do when you try to create this routine? Well, think about your day already. Where do you have some little pockets of time that you could fit in some lessons? And remember, preschoolers don't need hours and hours a day. 20 to 30 minutes around 3 times a week is more than enough of formal lessons for your preschooler. And those 20 minutes might be all at once. Maybe you have a nice big chunk of time in the morning after breakfast, but before you've started anything else for the day. Well, that might be a really great time to work with your preschooler. That time in the morning might be good for reading a book together and doing a little activity about it, playing a game to learn a skill, maybe doing a little bit of science. It's just a really great time for you and your preschooler to learn together, and hopefully that'll give them a chance to want to go off and do some independent work while you do the rest of your responsibilities. So what happens if you don't have a nice big chunk of time? Well, then break it up. You could do 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. Maybe you can fit in 10 minutes in the morning before the rest of the day. Maybe you can fit in 10 minutes before lunch and 10 minutes after lunch. Or 10 minutes after a quiet time. Maybe you have a chance when baby's sleeping. Just think about where you have that natural lull in your time, where you could fit in some one-on-one time with your preschooler teaching a specific skill. And remember, it doesn't have to be every day. And if you've noticed that your preschooler just is not in the mood, it's gone on too long, then just stop for the day. Just make sure that you leave plenty of time for play, both inside and outside. So how do you want to spend that time? Maybe you put together a little morning basket, and that's your go-to basket where anything that you're going to do with your preschooler that day is in there. You might have your games in there, your books, some little activities that they're going to do with you. So you can just grab that basket when you have a chance to work with them. You might want to do calendar time or use your time together to teach nursery rhymes or sing songs. So as you're putting these ideas together, think about what skills you want to teach and then plan some activities that'll help you teach those skills. But remember that, things come up, and so you're not always going to have a chance to sit one-on-one with them. So also plan activities that they can do on their own. So if you need to teach your older kids or you need to attend to a phone call, you can have your preschooler still learning, even if it's not one-on-one with you. Those things might be sensory bins or Play-Doh activities. I have a little learning binder that I've set up because my preschooler wants to sit at the table with his older siblings, but he's not ready to do the work that they're doing. And so he has a binder of work that he can do on his own, tracing activities, cutting and pasting. And I'm there where I can help him if I need to, but I'm still able to teach my older kids at the same time. So find activities that you can do with your preschooler or that your preschooler can do on their own that fit into the routine that you already have going on in your day. And what might that look like in real life? Well, it might be reading a Bible story to all of your kids while they're eating breakfast. It might be pulling your preschooler to do some one-on-one time of a book and an activity or a game together before you start homeschooling older kids. It might be your preschooler working on that learning binder I just mentioned while you're homeschooling older kids. Maybe during math time, your preschooler has some headphones on and is listening to a music class online. Or maybe it's your preschooler working on hands-on activities like puzzles or sensory bins or Play-Doh while you're feeding baby or getting dinner ready. And I know that all of these are great ways to teach your preschoolers because they're things I've done myself at home with my preschoolers too. As you're starting to put together your routine, there are some tips I'd like to share with you. The first one is to not have everything so set in stone that there's no wiggle room, because we're dealing with preschoolers here. Things are not always going to go as planned. And so make sure that you don't set things so tightly that at 10 o'clock you're doing this, and at 10:10 you're doing this, and at 10:20 you're moving on to something else, because something is always going to come up at 10:10 and you're never going to get to that activity. Or it's going to push back your whole day and you're going to get stressed out, your kid's going to get stressed out, and no one's going to have any fun. So make sure that you just create, that's why I've been calling this a routine. Make sure that you don't set such a tight schedule that no one's learning and no one's having any fun. Be flexible. If it's a gorgeous spring day outside, then maybe you close the books and you go on a really long nature walk. Or maybe you take the books with you on a blanket and you sit and read outside for a while instead of on the couch. And instead of a set schedule, when I create my routine, I like doing it based on anchors. And a lot of our anchors are meals, because we eat every day. And so think about things that are going to happen every single day, or at least every day that you're going to be doing preschool with your child. And think about how you can fit things in before or after those anchors. So maybe you do your preschool time before you start homeschool time with your older kids. Or maybe you read with your child while baby's napping. Or you do a science experiment right after lunch. Just something that you do built around that anchor, not at a set time. Another tip is to let your child be your guide. You can plan the most wonderful lessons, but if your child's not in the mood, they're just going to fall flat. Create lessons and activities based on their interests. Most of my time with my preschooler is spent reading and doing fun activities like games together with them. I also really love to set up invitations to play, because I have several kids and I'm homeschooling older ones. And so creating these invitations to play helps me know that he's still getting a lot of these skills while I'm attending to other kids. That might mean setting a tray on a table with some Play-Doh and tools. It might be creating some sensory bins to put on a shelf, or arranging books in a nice little basket next to the couch. I don't force my child to do any of them, but setting them out in an inviting way usually kind of gets them to find them on their own and play with them. But most of all, just be flexible and make sure that you leave lots and lots and lots of time for your child to play. Kids learn so much through play, so even if you're not sitting one-on-one with them, they're still learning. So that one-on-one time with mom is great, but also so is independent time. So as you set up your preschool routine, leave room for both. Leave room with your child one-on-one, but then also make sure that you leave room for them to do things on their own. Kids thrive on structure, so having some kind of routine to your day helps it flow so kids know what to expect next. And a nice perk is that your preschooler is going to be used to the routine already. So when they go to more structured learning as they get into the elementary years, it's going to be a nice transition for that. So now that we've talked about creating your preschool routine, be sure to watch my final video in this series on how to plan your homeschool year. If you don't want to miss it, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel through the button below. Thanks for watching, and happy homeschooling.